Namaste, Soul Circle!
I'm Candice.
And I'm Steven.
And we're from Arcana, Mind, Body, Spirit here in Toronto, Canada.
And today we are discussing our 6th energetic power center, the Third Eye Chakra. We'll be exploring the principles and asking each other soul-searching questions based on what we feel our relationship is like with our Third Eye Chakra. Prompts that will make us question how we see the world, and more importantly, how the world sees us. Lastly, we will give you methods on balancing and healing your energetic relationship with your third eye.
So, before we get started, be sure to hit subscribe and the notification bell to be sure you don't miss our other videos this week in order to really unlock the intuition and power of your third eye.
Sanskrit name is Ajna. They say the chakra is the seat of your intuition. And because of this, the translations of the Sanskrit word include to command, perceive, and beyond wisdom. This name is perfect because it deals with what we see, both in the outside world and the unseen world. It is the seat of self-reflection and intuition and clarity of thought. And where is it? You guessed it, your third eye chakra is located at your brow above the base of your nose, and it also corresponds to your brain.
The symbol is a beautiful one. In the center of the lotus flower, there is a downward facing triangle with what looks like the number 3 in the center of it. Its color is indigo or royal blue. This is the color that actually helps transition people from life to death. Because it's such a high vibrational color, it helps us to see beyond the veil of illusions, or Maya. Often crystal healers will use crystals with high vibrations on clients' third eye in order to lift their vibration for true spiritual work.
The third eye houses the concept known as the way of the third eye, which is used in so many theologies of modern medicine. It is the concept of taking the observer's stance to gain perspective of a situation. Those with a clear understanding have a wide open third eye and can truly see with great clarity. Now, yogis will often say that the third eye chakra is where you become separate from the collective. It's the voice in you that is entirely separate from the connected outside energy of the world. Having moved through your Visuddha or your throat chakra, you have now mastered all 5 elements, and now you are seated at your pineal gland. Your intuition and all that is your own true personal power, separate from the outside world.
Mm-hmm. Overall, all mental faculties and psychological skills live here. The third eye also corresponds to all intuitive gifts, your subconscious mind, your ocular systems, your senses, and any clair gifts that you may have, such as clairvoyance, clairgustance, claircognizance, and clairaudience. At its most fundamental level, the third eye chakra deals with perspective. How do you present yourself to the world and how the world presents itself to you? It is the channel of your foresight and how you move through the world and the energies around you. Lastly, the third eye chakra deals with dream state and all the metaphysical journeys.
Now, by working this chakra, you will have a more optimistic outlook on life. You will live a more generous state of being, as well as cultivate your spiritual connection with those around you. You'll be able to connect with your own true purpose in life. You'll have more inspiration as you walk your true path. And you'll also have great experience with astral projection and also your dream recall.
The connection to the third eye comes from its close proximity to the pineal gland, which is located just behind the third eye chakra. Your pineal gland has been long associated with the psychic phenomena dating back to the Egyptians. Did you know that if you actually sliced a pineal gland in half, it resembles the eye of Horus, which was an important symbol in Egyptian culture? Many ancient cultures had variations on this, including the Mayans and the Mesopotamian civilizations. The pineal gland is mostly unused nowadays, leaving modern medicine stumped in what it was actually for. But if the hieroglyphics from around the world can prove anything, it's that the pineal gland was an important part of many cultures. Modern science is now linking it to DMT, which is responsible for giving us visions and psychic encounters. Of course, metaphysics and healers have known the truth forever. It's our seed power.
Okay, so let's talk overactive and underactive chakras. So an overactive third eye can look like your friend who is just totally out to lunch. They become so ungrounded that it's easy for them to get swept into other narratives because they're not dealing with what they're actually going through. In young adults, this can actually manifest as video game addictions or too much fantasy role playing. And in adults, it can look like the people who are constantly diving into conspiracy theorists. This can be a difficult issue because at the beginning, it starts just looking like being intellectual, or it could even kind of look like spiritual bypassing. Often they'll say, you just don't get it because we're not evolved, right? Now, the most common side effect of an overactive third eye is actually night terrors or even just having nightmares. You need to get more embodied if this is the case.
Yeah. So now, what if you don't dream at all? This is a side effect of an underactive third eye chakra. The physical symptoms that may show up with an underactive or blocked third eye chakra are when people cannot face their fears, when truths are right in front of you and you cannot see it. Have you ever experienced a moment of clarity that you wish you could have seen earlier and your friends say, we saw that coming? Yeah, probably that's happened to everybody, but
Everyone.
More so, you might have a blocked third eye chakra. But you were unwilling to see the truth. That was the problem. You were unwilling to see the truth. This is an underactive third eye. A lot of the time, this comes from fearing people's criticisms or harsh outcomes, so we create our own mental fog. Even times when you feel spacey or not very present, this can mean trouble with Ajna. Someone with a healthy third eye chakra has the ability to release old habits and start new ones that will serve them without returning to familiar negative patterns.
So if you imagine your third eye is not in balance, you are spacey and living in a negative space with probably negative habits that you're retaining inside your body. And your body is going to start manifesting this stress in so many different ways. Remember, your body is a direct result of what you put into it. And if you are fueling your body with negative fears or thoughts, then you're going to see some negative results. It can be anywhere and everywhere in your body. So it's hard to say what one negative symptom could be. The same as if you have an overactive chakra and you're ignoring your body because you're too busy looking outwards. On the other side, the most optimal case, a balanced third eye promotes balance across your entire chakra system. And it allows you to still stay grounded while still keeping your mind open and expansive with great vision.
All right, let's soul search.
All right.
And feel free to comment below with your responses. By doing these questions, you do the work along with us and can truly help you grow your relationship with your chakras. Even if you want to just write the prompt down and journal it later, go for it. Are you ready, Stephen?
Let's do it.
All right.
Okay, so I'm going to read the questions this time.
Okay.
Changing it up. We're going to put Candice in the hot seat first.
That hasn't been the first time. This is it. I'm not new to being in the hot seat.
You're not. Okay, so because your third eye deals with a lot of spiritual and metaphysical principles, what is your earliest memory of being interested in metaphysics and spiritual natured topics?
I can't truly remember if there was like some thing or something I saw or whatever it may be that was like, you should do this, or oh, that looks cool, or any person talking about it that influenced me. I mean, I always liked like magical kinds of things. Like those were my interests. I could watch The Labyrinth and like Dark Crystal, and I liked those kinds of like mythical kind of stories. Not quite the same thing, but I was interested in all of that.
Still the same, yeah.
You know? So I remember going to the library because I'm old, and on weekends when you were really young and you could do things by yourself, I would go to the library on a Saturday and hang out at the library with my friends and like look up stuff.
Yeah.
So when we weren't asking the librarian for books about sex, we were asking them books about like magic or like witchcraft, I think we probably called it, or something in 1994. But anyways, so I remember bringing home a book, and I remember finding this like this meditation. It was like almost like, not, I wouldn't say it was a meditation, maybe more like a mantra or like a chant. And it said to like light candles and do all this stuff. And I don't know if I actually was able to light candles, or maybe I did because I was a risk taker in 1994. And
It's a wild year, that 94.
And after the library, I lit some candles that I took from my parents' drawer or wherever they kept them. And I did that. And I remember really liking it and thought it was cool. And then there was like movies that were more probably showing these things in like a horror movie kind of way.
Right.
But I thought it was cool, and I probably mimicked them in some way. Being
The Craft.
Really young.
Yeah,
Well,
that was the movie.
I was a little older when The Craft came out, so
Right.
that was like, what, like 97 or something? So I was a little older.
I'm still so young.
Yeah, we're the same age, so just so that you know. But anyways, I think that was probably the first that I can remember, to be honest. Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, I really do have that memory of being like the kid running into the bookstore and like sneaking and wondering if anyone's around, and like looking at books on palmistry and like all of those topics. But my grandmother was a wise woman, and I have so many memories of being, really young, like so young, and standing out in the backyard and like looking at the moon, and just like her telling me all these like amazing stories. And she would say just really small things like, oh, tomorrow make sure you da-da-da-da-da, like just these like little sprinkles and stuff like that. And somehow that just got super ingrained. And one of my childhood best friends, who I think you guys have met her, she lives down in Mexico. Her and I we were so young at the time, we were probably still having baths together, like this type of age. And we would be laying in the basement with like astral projecting and like going on these like talking each other through journeys, and there was just always so much of it that when I look back at it now, I kind of marvel at where did I know this from so specifically? You know, how did it feel so connected with me? And it's just always been there my whole life, I guess. Yeah, but I think most of it stems from good old grandma.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay, next question. Let's talk about dreams. Okay, so are you a vivid, colorful dreamer? And do you recall your dreams easily?
Yeah, I do. I have really vivid dreams, and they're always, generally, obviously, pretty easy and clear to remember.
Let me tell you, once a week, she's calling me, like right when she wakes up, she's like, oh my God, so and it's like a 10-minute detailed conversation about some kind of crazy journey we were just on.
They're super vivid, and and very specific, and I always can like really feel the emotions of the things that are happening. And when I have had scary dreams, or more like not quite a nightmare, but like unsettling kind of dreams, I'm always able to like be present in the dream. Like I can be like, once I start to actually feel the fear, like actually within myself, or the discomfort or whatever, I can literally say out loud in my dream while it's happening, this is just a dream. And I can just change the narrative of the dream.
Yeah.
So I can just move out of it.
That's awesome. She's like a dream warrior over here. It's amazing. For my dreams, I definitely dream in color. There's like a large statistic of people who dream in black and white. And an even larger statistic of people who don't dream at all. So I don't know what that is like, but I definitely dream in like wild, vivid HD. And for a long time, I remember when I was a kid, I only dreamed in what's it called? First person. So like you're only ever looking out of your eyes. And I remember I started having dreams looking at myself. Probably when I was a teenager, and I remember that switch being like, what just happened? Did I die? Like I was so shocked. And then now I kind of alternate, but I remember specifically that being like a big trip in my dream. I often don't remember my dreams. I remember them right when I wake up, and let's say I was going to call you and be like, oh my God, I had a dream. If I'm still not in like sleep mind and like pick up my phone and leave you a voice note on our walkie-talkies. And be like, so if I like have to do anything first, is gone.
Forget.
It's gone.
Yeah.
That veil of forgetfulness that we have in this mortal coil that is wrapped around my brain like a snake. Anyways, so I'm working on it. But my dream recall, I actually do find that if I keep soda light close to my bed, I have a much better dream recall. It's pretty awesome, actually. Should try it.
It's interesting. I was having a thought when you were saying that the statistic of people who can't remember their dreams, it's something to look up, and if someone knows the answer, I'm actually really interested to hear some feedback, because I haven't read this necessarily anywhere, but I feel like I know a lot of people who are who smoke marijuana like consistently throughout the day, like whether it be like self-medicating or they just have like just enough throughout the day for like anxiety, whatever it is.
Yeah.
They're just having a little bit, but the people I've known that are consistently smoking marijuana, they just happen to be, I just thought of this when you were talking, they just happen to be people who I know of that don't remember their dreams.
Isn't that interesting?
So I don't know if that's a thing. I don't know if that's a thing or it's just the people that I happen to know.
Write in, let us know. I'd be interested to know that too.
I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna look it up after and see if there's anything written about that.
That's cool.
Maybe it's just my people.
Next question. Okay, so third question. Let's talk about intuition. So, have you ever really had a feeling from your intuition that you ended up ignoring? And why did you ignore it?
Okay, well...
I already know what story she's gonna tell, so I'm just waiting with bated breath for this.
There's an extensive list. No, just no. I found myself in a situation that, on I feel like surface level, was very like at all the things that I wanted, and it was very easy to get swept into feeling like it was very anxious and very much wanting the things that I wanted. And I was doing the work and stuff, and I just thought, but I had only realistically started hardcore in the work and the efforts and doing the ritual and stuff.
Yeah.
But I thought, oh my God, it's working. This is it. And I was just going to get swept up in this thing. And I think that's probably the reason why I ignored my intuitive initial feelings. Because along with the work that came from ignoring that came all the work that I needed so that I will always listen to my intuition.
Yes.
Right? The skills that I was lacking to follow through on not just hearing my intuition, but trusting it, I didn't have that work. I didn't do that work yet. I wasn't done with that work yet. I'm not done with it now, but I wasn't anywhere near being able to listen. So when I felt that in my gut, and even like you and some of our other friends, they'll say like, I literally in the beginning of this relationship that I got into said like just something, I don't know, like I was embarrassed to like introduce or like say something initially, even though I was just gonna go into it, there was something that was there that I knew it wasn't what I want. It wasn't for me.
Yeah.
But I went ahead with it anyways because obviously I needed the work, but I went ahead with it because I didn't listen to that.
Yeah.
So I got many lessons.
Over and over again, in fact.
Yes.
Repeated lessons.
Yeah. But now it's over, and I've gotten that.
It was so worth it.
And it was worth it. It was not easy, but it was worth it because of where I am now and who I have in my life now. It's much better.
She's so bright.
All right. So you, it's about you now.
Stop talking about me. It's about you now. Well, I learned these lessons very, very young because I was in a pretty hard situation as a kid. And when you look around, when you're a part of a home domestic situation that is very uncomfortable, you don't know how uncomfortable it is because you just assume everyone's in that situation. You don't know what everyone else's home life looks like. And I remember just always thinking that it was wrong, that it was really not good, and it wasn't the type of situation that everyone in my class was going home and experiencing. But I do have to say, after ignoring that for the amount of time that I did, because I was protecting the family or whatever reason I could come up with in my little boy brain that was making me ignore it. I remember one day, there wasn't really a breaking point. It wasn't like the worst situation that we had been in or anything, but I was really fed up with it, and I don't know what made me do it, but something inside told me to, and I just opened the windows and I just started like calling for help and being like, this is what's happening inside my home right now, screamed it to the whole neighborhood. And let me tell you, did my situation change that day? But I really did learn. I learned so much about just like trusting myself at that point that there's probably been times in my life where I shouldn't have listened to the voices inside my head as much and still just went ahead and did it in almost an overactive way. But I think since then I've always trusted my intuition, and it's led me in very good directions for the most part. So good intuition. Okay, let's talk about the flip side of this. Can you think of any time there's been a situation in your life where you have again gotten a message from your intuition to follow or do something, and it's turned out so spectacularly?
Yeah, I feel like I have a lot of moments where I've listened to my intuition, and it was the right thing to do, even if it was something that didn't like work out, like moving to New Zealand and trying to like save my idea of what family should be with the father of my daughter and stuff. And like it didn't work out, and it was really bad, and it was super hard coming back and restarting my whole life and stuff. But I had everything. My whole life was basically set, and I left it all aside like very quickly, and I followed my intuition, and I needed to. And if I had not done that, my life I would be starting over probably this year and doing all the work. And when we're 40, we can celebrate, or not even later, 45, we'd be celebrating.
So when I'm 25 and you're 45.
Sure. But I want to talk about the one major one that is probably the most empowered I felt to follow my intuition. Kind of a two-parter. When I found out that I was pregnant and was already done my first trimester, I know people are going to be like, how did that happen? But I have PCOS. I have very irregular periods, always have. I was on birth control. I just separated from the father of the child. We just broke up. I had just went vegetarian. There's a lot of major reasons that were justifiably a good reason why I would not get my period. Yeah. Besides my period just coming when it wants anyways.
It was always very regular.
So when it didn't come, so by the third month I didn't come, and I had taken a pregnancy test that said negative. So I was just like, it's my body. By the time that I had finally went to the doctor and she told me I was pregnant, my initial reaction was like, wow, I'm going to be a mom. Crazy, right? Like, whoa. And then as I had to go and announce this to certain people, everyone's reaction was, so when are you gonna have an abortion? When are you gonna do that? Do you want me to come with you? And I was like, what? Really? And then I started to like second guess my stuff, but I was like, I just had to like take a step back, and I was like, my initial gut reaction, which told me I wasn't upset, I wasn't scared, I wasn't anything. It was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm gonna be a mom. Like, really? That was my first initial reaction. I didn't cry or anything. It was that. And so I trusted my gut, and although I was really late, it would have been a very different kind of situation if I had chosen not to have her. Yeah. And the same thing goes with how I gave birth. When I chose to have her at home, and different complications came up for me, and they're like, you could go to the hospital now, or we can have an IV and stuff. I was like, no, I'm good. She's fine. It's gonna be fine. I like knew my gut. I didn't have another ultrasound. I didn't know the gender of I'm like, no, I picked one name. That's her name. It's a girl. Whether she shows us or not, it's a girl, and this is her name, and everything's going to be fine, and my birth is going to be healthy. Like, I just trusted completely my intuition. That entire journey was just complete intuitive like guidance.
That's so amazing. Gosh.
And it was, thank God, worked out. Yeah, and again, I when I talk about my birth story and my pregnancy and different things, I don't want people to think that I'm putting down anyone else's journey that is completely different from mine, or if they wanted something like mine but it didn't work out. I'm not asking people to ignore whatever is coming up for them or ignore their doctors or whatever. Do what you need to do. I'm talking about me, and it has no bearings on anybody else, and I think everyone can do and should do what they want. This is just my journey, and no one should take it as a personal attack on them. Just wanted to say that. Yeah.
I love your journey. So good. And also your daughter rocks.
Right? She's great.
Greatest.
She's great. She
Love
really
you.
is. Love you, baby. Okay, so why don't we move into the different ways that we can work on our third eye chakra?
Okay, so number 1, pay attention. Spend some time trying not to just coast through your life. Look around you in any situation and ask yourself, what do you see? What do you feel? What do you hear? How much of the active situation in front of you can you become present for? By flexing this muscle, you will automatically grow more present and be able to see with greater clarity. Now, avoid things that calcify your pineal gland. They say that watching too much unimportant, unregistering television that doesn't stimulate your brain is a huge calcifier. So maybe stay away from too much reality television, shall we?
Yeah. You can even feel it sometimes when you watch too much. All right, number 2, meditation. With your eyes closed, focus on using your third eye. Bring your attention to the space that occupies your third eye. Can you relax it? And then can you relax it a little bit more? And then can you relax it a little bit more? How about some more? Eventually you'll feel the release. That's when your third eye is truly open.
Method number 3, expand your world. Try and experience seeing or doing something that maybe they've never done before. The best way to train your eyes to see different is by showing them something that they've never seen. They can adjust to a new habit easier rather than forcing a habit on seeing the same things every day. Maybe try to walk to work a different way, maybe eat lunch somewhere different or eat something different. Maybe try talking with a stranger. Do whatever you can to expand your world.
Number 4, Reiki. Reiki is one of the best modalities to work on opening your third eye. If you've never worked with a Reiki practitioner, consider it, especially if you'd like to uncover your third eye. Reiki healing journeys, both virtual and in person, are services that we ourselves offer at Arcana. So if you're interested, please head to our website and let us know.
All right, method number 5 is working with stones. Now, for your third eye, you can work with amethyst, lapis lazuli. So many famous crystals that are out there are really great stones for your third eye. If you feel adventurous, pick up some of the Synergy 12 stones like danbarite or moldavite and place it on your third eye when meditating. You're gonna thank us later.
And number 6, essential oils. Lavender, sandalwood, white sage, and pine are all really great for the third eye and the pineal gland.
All right, method number 7 is affirmations. It's time to break down all those negative lies that you tell yourself, because these things impact how you see the world, and most of them are untrue. Try saying things like, I am at peace, I live in the present moment, and I listen to the wisdom of the universe.
Yeah. So number 8 is tapping. Tapping is the process of gentle, repeated gestures taking place on some targeted zones on your body. Most chakras react to this, but your third eye and pineal gland are particularly partial to tapping. For example, we instinctively do this when we tap our heads when we can't remember something. And you have a trusty tool that you wear around your neck all the time to get up.
So for method number 9, it is using sound. The note that you'll actually use is A.
And number 10 is fasting. One way they say to open the channel is by giving your body a time of fasting. There has been some documented science based on this, as well as many ancient cultures telling us that when in the fasted state, one is able to connect far deeper than usual. It is also recommended to have less calcium when working with this chakra, not to over-calcify the pineal gland, as well as not eating any glycerins or overly processed sugars.
And apparently a shot of apple cider vinegar every day is a great way to keep your third eye in great working state.
I used to do that every day. I should probably start it again.
Yeah. All right, some final correspondences. So the third eye has the polarity of the feminine. Its planetary ruler is Saturn, and the zodiac for it is Leo and Cancer.
Yeah, and then we have the archetypes. So in the positive, we have the archetype of the intuitive. So this is someone who has insight, inner insight. They let their intuition lead them as well as lead others. They are really good at interpreting the symbols and maybe repetition that they might come across in their day-to-day. They don't just let it blur. They actually see this repetition, bring in messages and try to figure out what the universe is actually trying to communicate to them. Yeah, and then the negative one would be the intellectual. So this is someone who's basically doing the opposite. So they're not following their intuition. They're trying to figure out everything almost in this chaotic space. They're trying to figure everything out with logic only, and not ever having a feeling or a connection to anything, not being able to follow the natural process of life or the symbols that life is trying to communicate to them, or their body even as well.
So that's the third eye chakra. Be sure to comment below and let us know what your relationship is like with your own third eye chakra. And let us know what you learned here today and what things you may have done in the past to help balance your third eye.
Yeah, and of course, be sure to like and subscribe to our channel so that you'll be able to check back at all our other chakra videos we've been working with for the last 2 months. And next week, we will finish with the crown.
I can't believe we're at the end of the chakra series already.
It went by really quickly.
Yeah. So make sure you tune in for our sound bath this week and our Bija Mala work that we'll be doing on Friday. So many have been tuning in for those. I'm so glad you've enjoyed them. And this week, we are going to be working with the Bija mantra, Kasham. So again, I can't believe it. We're into May now.
For the month of May, while we're on that, we're moving into our series in the moon. So be sure to check that out. On Mondays, we'll be discussing the different phases of the moon. Wednesday, we'll talk about what your moon sign is in astrology and what that means. And on Friday, we'll be starting our goddess series and their correspondences to the moon.
Can't wait.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Namaste.
Much love.